my name is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is right now. Also, if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you could find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. Plus, you could give this video a thumbs up, and you could subscribe to my YouTube channel. Plus, don't forget, you can leave me a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. Hang on. Starlight's bell is over here, and you could share my videos and with your family, your friends. I've seen a lot of squirrels and birds, so you could share my videos with them too. Don't be stingy. So the other thing that you can do is don't forget the notification bell. That way you don't miss any videos. And also, you could check out my playlist and find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman Starlight. So anyway, I got a couple messages here today on this video. This video is about not being afraid of failure. You know, are you afraid that you're gonna fail and, you know, things are not gonna go as planned? Well, this is life, right? You're gonna fall, you're gonna fail, things are not gonna go your way, and we got to embrace those moments right along with, you know, the good days when everything goes out right, you know, and when everything goes our way. We have to fail in life in order to grow, and that's where you're gonna grow, is when, you know, you fail. And you know, by failing, or when things don't go out quite the way we were hoping, you know, that is our ego. The ego does not like when this stuff happens, not at all. The ego gets all upset, and it's okay. And this is what this video is about. It's okay that, you know, things don't go the way you wanted. You know, you're gonna go through that, so you might as well embrace that now, and not to let those circumstances have the best in you. You know, now you're gonna let that problem, you know, overtake you, because your ego does not like when this stuff happens. The ego always wants to be right when it's not, you know. So the ego is a big trip for all of us, you know, where we trip up because of the ego, you know, trying to act like we're better than other people, and, you know, embarrassed, you know, of not being perfect. And we're not here to be perfect, and a lot of us, all of us, you know, have been deceived in thinking that we have to be perfect on this planet. You know, like, you know, when you go to church, you know, like, yeah, they preach, you know, and, you know, they don't let you think that it's okay not to be perfect, because I've gone to churches in the past, and, you know, no matter what I did, it just was never good enough for the church. So with that, it's okay that you're gonna fall. You gotta face this in life, is falling. Like Edison, you know, when he was making the light bulb, you know, it didn't happen the first time. And, you know, even when people work on different things, like I'm gonna pick men for a little bit. The men that actually work on things, they're the handymans, you know, in the home. You know, it doesn't matter if you're single or not, but a lot of men that actually Google things and learn how to fix things, how to do this and how to do that, you know, there's a lot of times things are not going to go right. Sometimes, you know, with men, and same with women, but they might not even go by the instruction manual. They might say, hey, I know how to do it, and then when they try to do it, things don't go right. I've seen many times in my life where men will work on a car, you know, and, you know, they knew how to do it, or they thought they knew how to do it, and it's really strange how I've seen this many times, is men working on vehicles where, you know, they took out bolts, they little washers, different parts out of their car, because Starlight was always like, I want to learn what they're doing here with these cars, you know. So I always had my nose everywhere, in any with men, you know, that are working on things, whether I went out with them, whether they were my friend or, you know, somebody that just happened to, you know, work on cars. Starlight's nose always had to, Starlight wasn't in the house doing housework unless I was treated really bad, and I'm like, you know, I'll just stay in the house and let them deal with that stuff. So, but many times I've seen men, no matter who they were, is that they would take something apart, and then they get the new, you know, they got the new part, and, you know, they mentally thought they could put it back together again, like Humpty Dumpty, you know, and many times, you know, after they put it back together again, what happened? Well, what happened? A lot of things could happen when you're working on a car. Even with the auto mechanics out, you know, that takes your business, you know, and works on your car, is because some things don't always go out the way they plan. Sometimes, you know, they can't take a bolt out of your car, you know, they have a problem, and sometimes these days it's a lot different. Sometimes they actually have to cut it out, you know. I think they can blowtorch it out, you know, depending on where that is, you know, just kind of heat it up and get it out there somehow or another out of the car. And so even the professionals that work on cars, they end up having like things that did not quite work out the way they were hoping, you know, and then it costed you a lot more money, because now it's going to take a lot more time to fix the problem because they ran into a problem on the way. But most of the time that I've noticed, people that I've seen work on cars, they always ended up with extra bolts. And I always thought, that can't be good. I mean, those were there, you know, when they took it apart, you know, where did all these extra bolts and washers come from, you know? So I always question that. Is that really good to do that? They don't want to take the car, you know, back apart. So, whoops, sorry. So we're not always going to have things as planned, even if you go on a vacation, you know, and you're traveling. And Starlight has gone through that, you know, in her life here, is where I went traveling, I went somewhere, and then, you know, I couldn't find any hiking trails, I couldn't find a library, I couldn't find a park. I was like, you've got to be kidding me, you know, there's not a park or any of these things. So, you know, and that's, you know, that is going to happen. Sometimes you might take a test, and, you know, which my son recently did on because he wants to do some work in his house, and it's electrical, and he has to have a permit to work on these things, and so he had to take a test, and he was 2 points off on passing the permit exam, you know, which took 3 hours, you know. So but he learned a lot through that. Now he knows, you know, after doing the exam, you know, he had to look at what he got wrong. That way now it's like, okay, you know, I got that wrong. And just like getting your license, how many times did it take you to get your license? Now the written part, Starlight didn't do good on the first time, and then the second time I got it, when I got my driver's license, bam, the first time I was able to get my license, you know, I was even shocked. So but not everybody gets to pass on their first time. I've heard stories on YouTube videos where sorry, the lighting here, where people failed their driver's test many times, but you know what, eventually they did get their license. So, you know, it's that you really got to understand everything is not going to go your way. Even in Starlight, you know, his life, definitely not. You know, there's things that I think are going to, you know, I would have to say there's times that I think a video is going to go really great, and then it didn't. You know, and then there's times that I'm like, that didn't go well, but then, you know, I ended up getting a lot of views. So go figure, you know. So it is okay that things don't always go. It is a part of growing. It's a part of loving yourself and mentally being kind to yourself when those things happen. And, you know, really it is a lot mentally, is like what happens when things don't go right, you know, is that, and then we think we're a failure. Then we think, you know, and that's what you got to really be mindful of, is your thoughts and your beliefs and your words and all that. When things don't go your way, you got to be emotionally, mentally kind to yourself, because if you're not, then that energy could make things worse. You could be like, oh, and if you verbally say something about what happened in a negative way, well, you might try to do that again, and it might not work out the way you want it again, because you're not being mentally kind, and you're not being patient, and you're not trusting that you can do it this time. So, and a lot of people are afraid of failure, even the best of them out there, like failing at a relationship, and most of you on my YouTube channel have been in a relationship where it didn't work out. Well, what did you learn in that relationship? So I said that I was going to talk about a couple things in this video. The other thing I want to talk about is, because of the new year, is what are you letting go of in 2025, but what are you letting go that you did that was not serving you for 2024? And I watched an awesome live stream video today. Woo! Starlight loved it. So what are you letting go of in 2024 to make a better 2025? So we all have done things in 2024, whether you want to agree to it or not. It's, we're not perfect, and it's okay that we fail at different things or even fall. That's what happens even to toddlers when they're starting to learn how to crawl, and how they, when they start crawling and they start learning how to walk. How many times they fall before they figure out, okay, I got this, and they get upset. And some of the children are worse than others when it comes to how upset. They get really mad, because they fell down and they got hurt, but they got back up and they finally learned how to, look at you, you're walking, you're not even walking, you're running, you're jumping, because you had to fall many times in order to get where you are now. So Starlight is letting go of a lot of things this year, and I just really would like you to leave a message down below. Let me know, what is it that you're letting go of? You could let go of toxic people. Starlight has let go of so many people, where now I got one great friend out there, because I had to let go. And it is not easy letting go of people. I am correcting my diet. I'm working on my diet, so because I realize, I have been changing my diet around. I am so proud of myself. So I've been getting better and better every day, as far as what I'm eating, what, discipline myself, so I have not been eating any cheese at all. So, and dairy as far as milk goes. And, and eggs, I don't eat eggs anymore. So it is so important that you get ready for this 2025, is to let go of, food that that is not good for you, and let go of, sorry about the background noise, and let go of people that are no longer good for you. It's so important to let go of those people, and the habits that hold us back. What kind of habits have you done in 2004? Maybe you've been too hard on yourself, and not being kind, and maybe you're hard on other people. Have you been hard on other people, and not forgiving other people? So these are things that you can change in your life for 2025, is letting go of jealousy. Are you jealous of other people? And I know I'm not where I want to be, but guess what? Jealousy is not a big, huge problem for me, not even in relationships, unless, of course, the man is flirting with other women. Yes, I'm going to definitely have a problem with that, So jealousy is something that a lot of people have. They get jealous of what you have, and what kind of job that, the car that you drive, and, like the company that you own, or the career that you started, or the car that you have, the wife or the husband. So we got to let those things go for 2025. And also, maybe you weren't maybe you weren't being kind to your family members, and this, now you're like, you know what, I need to, you know, be kind to my family members. I'm not gonna be a jerk. I'm not gonna be a bitch anymore. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm letting go of complaining. I'm gonna let go of complaining about my life, when I realize that there's other people that have less than me, you know. So Starlight is really good in that area, where I'm very, very grateful with what I have in my life. So, and I know there's people that have it worse than me, because there's people living out on the street in other countries that, and Starlight has gone all around, you know, helping people that are less fortunate. So maybe some of you need to let go of being greedy. You know, there's a lot of greedy people in the world. They're all about themselves. They don't think about anybody else, and maybe you're willing to let go of that. Maybe you are judging other people and pointing fingers, you know, at other people. And Starlight makes videos, and I actually observe people so I can make a video, but not that I'm actually picking on these people. Is that those are lessons that I see that we all can actually learn from. And I make videos about other people, and a lot of them are lessons about that, something I already went through. I already gone through that. So we got to be mindful of how we treat other people. Maybe you need to be more friendly. Maybe you need to, you know, not be so angry and upset all the time. Maybe you can let go of sleeping in too late and like watching too much TV. Maybe you need to let go of watching so much TV. So these are things that you can sorry about the light here. I had this phone, this phone, but which is also my camera. I had all over trying to find a good spot, but sorry about this. Starlight's like trying to get this adjusted. Whoops, I gotta block my head here or something. So yeah, it's so important to figure out, what am I gonna let go of? Maybe you like sweets, and you know that you eat too many sweets, you know. So Starlight is not like doesn't have a problem with eating too much sweet. Is Starlight likes salt, you know, salt and bread. So these are things that we can work on. Sorry about that, is Starlight's got an itch. So we can let go of things for 2025, and you know, replace those things, and say, you know what, I'm going to exercise more. I'm going to get out in nature more. I stayed inside so much in 2024, and then when it rained, I bitched and complained, because I've known many people like that when I lived in New York. Is that, you know, they bitched and complained about the weather. And I lived right near them, and I saw their vehicle. You know, they would bitch and complain. Sorry about this. Is about the weather. But then when it was beautiful out, where were they? They always were bitching, complaining. You know, they were bitching, complaining that, oh, I gotta mow the grass. Oh, I gotta shovel the driveway. You know, no matter what, every time I seen them, they always were complaining. You know, if it rained, they complained. When it was sunny, they complained. You know, so you know, they had a complaining spirit, is what Starlight would call that, is a complaining spirit, where you just, you know, and Starlight can't be around those people. As I did that long time ago, was around a relative, and, you know, and then after a while I was acting like them. Sorry about this. Yeah, everything kind of got moved around a little bit. See what I'm saying about, it's okay that the sun is moving, you know, and the light changed. And we're gonna get through this, you know. So don't let those small little things, you know, like ruin your day. You know, that it's a part of being who we are, human and alien. Starlight's part human and alien. So don't beat yourself up. Learn to let go of things that didn't go well. You know, I'm going to do this later, because somebody made a great video this morning, my mentor did, is I'm going to make a list of all the things that I want to let go of for 2025, things that I was doing in 2024 that I want to let go of. And, so if there's letting go, then you're going to start doing things that you were not doing or should have been doing that I don't have any problems with watching too much TV. So, but maybe you do. Maybe you've been watching too much TV. Or maybe you've been watching the wrong stuff on TV or on the internet, because it doesn't even, you could say, hey, Starlight, I never watch anything bad on TV, but then here you're watching really bad stuff on the internet. So I have to make sure you understand. It doesn't matter if it's the internet. Oh, Starlight, I don't watch anything wicked on TV or the internet, like a computer. But you are on your phone. How much time are you wasting on your phone or on social media? And what do you put on social media? Is it stuff to empower people, make people feel good, or is it just garbage, stuff that's not really going to help people out? So that could be something that you let go of for 2025. Anyway, I love you, and you can give this video a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also don't forget you can leave a message down below, beep, 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 and you can also check out my playlist. Plus, you can find me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K Dingman. You can share my videos with your family, your friends, a snail, and a butterfly, and don't forget the notification bell, that way you don't miss any videos. I love you so much, and really just make that list of things that you want to let go for 2025, and it's okay that you fail. It's okay that you fall. It's all okay. You can get right back up, just like the little toddler. We're all a bunch of kids, right? So anyway, I love you. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight. Love, light, and peace. Thank you for watching. This is Starlight. Namaste. This is Starlight. Love, light, and peace.